Hey guys, I'm in Philadelphia this week for a gay and lesbian journalism conference, but there are new appointments from the Trump administration that would make it easier for them to discriminate against queer people at work, in public, and in outer space. We'll have all that plus actions you can take on Weekly Debrief. Believe it or not, there are still a few positions in the Trump administration that are not occupied by anti-gay extremists, but not for much longer. This week, Trump nominated Jim Bridenstine to run NASA. Of course, he's not a scientist, of course he believes that climate change isn't real, and of course he believes that queer people are immoral and shouldn't be allowed to get married. Fortunately, as the head of NASA, he's not in a position to do much about that, at least not until someone tries to buy a wedding cake on the moon. But NASA has historically struggled to protect its LGBT employees. In the 1990s, management tried to make homosexuality a condition that disqualified a person from going into space. There's never been an openly queer astronaut, and with the boss telling employees that queer people are immoral, there's not likely to be for quite a long time. Someone of much greater concern is Eric Dryband, whom the administration just nominated to run the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division. He'll be in charge of ensuring equal pay, prosecuting hate crimes, making sure police treat people fairly, and much more. You can probably guess where this is going. As an attorney, he has a long history of working against civil rights. Specifically, he tried to block trans access to bathrooms in North Carolina, so naturally, he'll be in charge of civil rights in the Trump administration. The timing of this nomination is particularly worrisome given some crucial upcoming cases. This week, Lambda Legal asked the Supreme Court to review the case of Jamaica Evans. She was fired from her hospital job after her bosses learned that she was gay. The DOJ has tremendous influence before the Supreme Court, and Dryband could use this position to urge the court to allow businesses to fire queer employees. There's also another Supreme Court case coming up that's ostensibly about wedding cakes, but is actually about something much bigger: the right of any business to turn away queer customers. That's annoying when it's a wedding cake, but it could be far more dire when it's a hospital, or a school, or even just a place to buy groceries. If the administration has their way, you might never know anytime you walk into a business whether you're going to get turned away. In cases like these, it's looking increasingly likely that the DOJ is going to work to curtail civil rights, allowing businesses to fire queer employees and refuse queer customers. The DOJ is supposed to be the country's most powerful line of defense to protect civil rights, but instead, it's now being used as a weapon against the most vulnerable citizens. So what can you do? Well, Dryband isn't confirmed yet, so now is a crucial time to contact your elected representatives and let them know to oppose his nomination. Dryband hasn't got a lot of attention yet, so your tweets, calls, and emails will definitely get noticed. It's so easy. All you have to do is call 1-844-USA-0234 if you want to do it by phone, or you can text RESIST to 50409 if you want to do it via text. You can go to democracy.io if you want to do it via email. However you do it, the next few days are going to be a crucial time to tell Congress to reject Dryband's appointment. And as always, please keep in touch with me. If there are stories that you think need more attention, let me know at Matt Baum on Twitter or in the YouTube comments. I'll be back in Seattle next week, and I'll debrief you then.